Coming up, we're going to be talking about the new 4K version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We're talking about the success of Loki Season 2, and Faraway Downs is heading to our screens pretty soon. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Let's kick off first off with talking about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the very first film that got released by Walt Disney Studios. And on the Disney 100th anniversary, which is October the 16th, so not that far to go, we're going to be getting a special restored 4K version of this classic film. This is obviously going to be tying in with the anniversary. Perfect date for them to put it out there. It's also going to be out on physical media, so if you prefer collecting things physically, that's an option that is going to be able to pick up as well. It's done by the same team that recently did Cinderella, and they've basically gone through and just making it look as beautiful as they possibly can. So if you've never watched the film, this is going to be a great time to kind of jump in and check it out. I think it's a perfect thing to drop on at the anniversary. I mean, just to go back and sort of bring out the best version of the original film that they put out. It's just really good. I just think this is a great idea. I'm really glad that they're doing this, and also it's just additional content that we can see on Disney Plus. And yeah, there's very few streaming services around that can have that kind of legacy. You know, putting on a film from the 1930s. It is pretty cool to see them doing this. I'm going to check it out. I haven't seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs for a long time, so I'm going to be interested to see how it looks. But let us know, are you excited about the new 4K restored version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. So Disney has revealed that on Sunday, the 26th of November, they're going to be releasing a brand new series called Faraway Downs on Hulu in the United States and on Disney Plus around the world. Now, what makes this series very interesting is actually an extended version of the 2008 20th Century Studios film Australia, which stars Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. So what they have done is they filmed so much footage when they made it, and they made like 3 different endings. They've turned it into a 6-part series, and they're going to be releasing it all then. Very interested to see what they're going to do with this. I have seen the film, but I don't really remember it, so I'm going to wait and watch it again when it comes out with this new series. Apparently there was 3 endings in that they filmed, and the new series will have an entirely different ending. The idea that they shot so much of it that they actually could turn it into a 6-episode series, I think is very interesting. They haven't shot anything new or anything like that. It does have an updated soundtrack and stuff like that to go along with it. But yeah, I think this is kind of interesting, taking an idea, and I don't think necessarily you'd want an extended like 5-hour version of Australia, but if you turn it into a series, this could definitely be something that's pretty interesting. Having lots of high-profile actors in here as well. I'm going to be checking it out. It's also going to be debuting it later this month at the upcoming South by Southwest Australia event, which is taking place in Sydney. And there's going to be a special premiere on the 21st of October. So if you're there, that's where you're going to be able to watch it first before it debuts everywhere else. But yeah, I'm going to check this one out. As I said, I can't really remember the film, which is maybe not a good thing. But at the time when that film came out, I literally had spent like 4 or 5 months driving around Australia. So for me, I'm much more interested in this one because I love Australia and love to just learn a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to watching it. But let us know what you think. Are you looking at watching Faraway Downs? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Last Thursday, Disney did release a brand new episode of the 2nd season of Loki on Disney Plus around the world. They dropped it in the evening in the United States in order to try and get some more viewers, and it looks like it's worked because they've revealed some data on the release. Disney announced that it's the 2nd most viewed season premiere on Disney Plus in 2023, which is just behind The Mandalorian. It notched up 10.9 million views globally after 3 days of streaming on Disney, and Disney defines a view as a total stream divided by the runtime. Now, it's very interesting that Disney is now releasing information about its shows. Now, whether or not this is connected to like the actors and the writers' strikes, and they're having to put the information out, but I think it's also maybe due to the fact that you're getting like Samba TV and Nielsen putting out reports about how shows are doing. And some of these Marvel and Star Wars shows are not doing as well as they used to. Obviously, the pandemic's had a big impact on that, and people just becoming a little bit bored with Marvel and Star Wars. So I think this is being put out there to kind of combat the idea that, when they see like, maybe less than 1 million people watched it from like Samba TV, these numbers just look a lot more impressive. So we definitely have to take that into consideration, that Disney are trying to get this information out there in advance. Now, I actually think it's a good thing that they are putting out the details, and also putting out information when necessarily it's not always the strongest, because they're not saying it's the most watched show, you know, because Disney are notoriously bad for it. They only tend to toot the horn when it's something really good. And so I'm glad that they've done this, and they are doing it more and more, which I think is good. And like I said, it's getting the story out that when the Samba information comes out and when the Nielsen stuff comes out, we've got some more context. But interesting to see how many people have watched it. It's definitely down on when the first season dropped, but we really have to look at it back that, you know, a couple of years ago, so many, I think we were still in like lockdown and stuff. I think we were here in the UK, you know, we still couldn't do a lot of stuff. So we've got to take that in consideration, and comparing to those, that pandemic year is not really logical to do. But we are definitely seeing a fatigue with Marvel and with Star Wars. And yeah, so but it's not as good, but I'm really enjoying the show. I thought this first episode was really good. And obviously we've got a new episode coming out this week. But did you watch the episode? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on from there, I'm now going to talk about Goosebumps. Now I'm going to try and keep this spoiler free. So this series is coming out on Disney Plus and on Hulu on Friday the 13th. We're getting 5 episodes with a new episode dropping each week afterwards. Now I've got to say, I have never read a Goosebumps book. I've not seen the series. I've not even watched the film. So I went into this completely blind. The books came out basically when I was pretty much, I was leaving school. So therefore I wasn't really interested in reading those kind of things. And it's just a franchise that I've got like no connection with. So I watched this one, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a kids show. What's that going to be good? And it's actually got some real like spooky elements, a little bit darker in tone than I was expecting. For a Disney Plus original, it's definitely far better than I was expecting. The teenagers feel like teenagers. They're dealing with stuff that teenagers deal with, and they don't feel like they are just like 12-year-olds because we've seen a lot of that with like Big Shot and with Doogie Kamealoha and stuff like that, where the kids, you know, the teenagers, but they act more like a 12-year-old. This one's a little bit better. Now, I think that probably is down to the fact that Sony are behind this series. Therefore, they're kind of treating it a little bit differently. It feels better. It's a little bit more grungy. There's some real scary moments, things when you will like kind of, you know, and there's some real like, oh, that's disgusting. I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. I ended up watching all 5 episodes in a binge. So that to me, so that has to be pretty good for me in order to do that. Because if I hated that first episode, when I went into the second one, there would be no chance I could have done 5. So that's good. I'm looking forward to seeing where the series goes. What they have done with this one is they have apparently taken key elements from different books and kind of merged them all together. But there's just like one continuous story. But in the first few episodes, each episode is kind of focused on one teenager, and there's, you know, one of them can see the future, one of them ends up putting on a mask, and she ends up like becoming a troll. But she was an online troll, so that kind of feeds into that. You got another one that can do some like time jumping around, another one with some worms, and that was disgusting in that episode. I really enjoyed it. So if you've, I'm really going to be saying, like, you know, check this show out. Don't overlook it. It is a really, really good one. I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I think the feedback so far seems to have been, there's like people are enjoying it. I know I did. Now, whether or not if you've read the books or anything like that, you might come into it like comparing it. So I can't do that. I'm just looking at it as a whole and going, I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed it. You've got some of the high school tropes in there as well, like you'd expect from like this kind of show. But overall, mass improvement on a sort of a Disney branded show. It's definitely, I think, one of the strongest ones that they've put out. Looking forward to watching the rest of the episodes. They're about 40 plus minutes each. They're proper television episodes. I mean, they've got proper music in there and stuff like that. I mean, it opened up with some REM and stuff, which kind of made me happy. But yeah, so yeah, it's just, I think, just in general, just a really, really great series. Can't wait for everyone to watch it. But let us know. You're going to be looking forward to watching Goosebumps. Let us know in the comments below. In our comment today, which comes from Ballet Law, who says, could Disney lose Once Upon a Time if ABC is sold? What about Dancing with the Stars and other shows on Hulu and Disney Plus from ABC? So this one came up, and there's a few people that have been talking about it, because there's been a lot of talk about Disney potentially selling ABC and stuff like that. And they're not selling ABC signature studios, which make those shows. The studios that make them, they want to keep hold of them. They want to still make those shows to put out on Disney Plus and stuff like that. the key thing that they're looking to maybe do is sell some of the affiliate channels that they have, for example, like in Chicago and New York and Los Angeles. So, I mean, I didn't know this till recently, but there's actually about like 250 plus channels across the US that show ABC content, but only 8 of them are actually owned by Disney. The rest are owned by different companies, including like Nexstar and Barry Media and stuff like this. And so Disney might just be looking to sell those 8 channels that they have to kind of pull in a few billion, but they might maintain keeping hold of ABC because it'd be very difficult for them to sell it because they need it for ESPN for putting out content as part of the deals. Also, ABC has such a big broad reach that it can reach a huge portion of the US, so it does have a lot of benefits, but they might just be looking to sell those individual channels that they have, for example, like in different areas around the US. So don't worry about them removing content or anything like that. It's got nothing to really do with that situation. But nevertheless, let me know what you think about all of this in today's Disney Plus news. Let me know all your thoughts in that. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.